If you're like me, school was never a favorite part of your day. Waking up early to go somewhere filled with a bunch of other people that didn't want to be there either, and some people there may just not like you and aim to hurt you in some capacity. Your day is filled with lessons that are simply meant to indoctrinate you with a specific set of information. This information is meant to be later regurgitated on standardized tests. You learn this education from an ambivalent teacher who is vastly underpaid and underappreciated. And unfortunately, their performance can often reflect exactly that.
You want them to get excited for this? You gotta come in here, you gotta make them excited. You want a kid to change and start doing better? You gotta touch his freaking heart. Can't expect a kid to change if all you do is just tell him. Because since I got here, I've done nothing but read packets. So don't try and take credibility for teaching me jack.
I have a theory for what might be the most optimal form of education. But first, let's take a look at the current mainstream forms of education. There's on-site education and online education. According to surveys, most students prefer online education these days. But does that mean on-site education should be phased out? Of course not. There's no doubt that traditional on-location education is majorly effective when it's done right. There are teachers out there that can make a tremendous impact on your life. Shout out to Professor Applehands, his astronomy class changed my life, and the dude was just super cool in general. But for most students, myself included, they would much prefer to receive their education online from the comforts of their own home. So does that mean the future of education is online? Well, sort of, but not in the way it's currently set up. With the introduction of 2020, we saw that online education is an option when it's necessary. There's really no question on the benefits of online education. The convenience factor alone is undeniable. Do you need a refresher course on a specific formula or concept? Just pull it up and watch the videos on that lesson again. You could always do the same thing with textbooks. But for some topics, the information is updated every year. At least that's what you'd think with how often school textbooks are being updated, making the previous versions less applicable or maybe even obsolete. Nevertheless, updating information online once to update over the previous information seems much wiser and much more efficient than having an entire surplus of sources floating around that may contain inaccurate information. So what's the problem with online education then? Well, the issue is in its platform and delivery method for consumption.
Most of the teachers don't know how to use technology. My math teacher, for example, he plays multiple videos per class, like Khan Academy videos, but they're laggy and we can't hear them. So we see a Khan Academy video at like 3 frames per second, but the only audio we hear is the audio coming out of his laptop speakers that go back in. We hear like 3, add the divisible from 5, and that's your answer. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, what is the point of me even being here?
It's obviously not going to work by taking the same dispassionate teacher and throwing a barrier of technology between them and the student. Before I explain my theorized system of education, let me just say that this is all highly speculative and theoretical. There are problems with this system just like any system that could be used. So what is the answer? Well, you're on it right now. Or at least the base model for how it would work. It's safe to say that between YouTube and its mother company Google, there are many lifetimes worth of knowledge available to us. There is already a decent section of YouTube that's already been carved out in education. And I have friends that have literally qualified themselves for 6-figure jobs solely through education on YouTube. But the validity and credibility of YouTube education can be very questionable at times. Valuable, vetted information is only a tiny fraction of the content on the internet, and it's very easy to get lost in a sea of meaningless content when you're seeking something particular. So what exactly is my proposal for an alternative option? In my opinion, we should have a platform that combines a number of different platforms' features into a single, streamlined, high-quality, dedicated education system. One of the primary aspects of this would be elements of YouTube's video hosting and live streaming capabilities, but it would be so much more than that. We would be adding additional interactive elements of engagement like projects, tasks, and games. But at its core, it exists solely for the purpose of education. Content would exist that incorporates elements of entertainment, but there needs to be a lesson, a piece of information that is meant to be taken away from it. These lessons would be correlated to specific exams or projects that would demonstrate your efficiency in the field. Content creation would be similar to YouTube. Passionate people who are interested and knowledgeable in subjects could submit their content to be viewed. There could be ads played over the content to support the platform and its creators. And students who want to learn more in the field could subscribe to that teacher. From there, they could watch the entire lesson plan, essentially a YouTube playlist that would be linked to the exams that demonstrate the efficiency. This program would also incorporate elements of apps that reward participation via unlocked achievements and streaks that could be displayed as a badge of wisdom or accomplishment. This would give users a sense of pride for their dedication and something to show for their time and effort. We've seen time and time again that these rewards, minor as they may be, incentivize people to use the app or the program. And this could range from minor things like learning the alphabet, ranging all the way to when you create your own thesis statement. This would essentially be gamifying the entire process of education. Perhaps you could even earn degrees or certifications this way. This app needs to have a social element too, so there would need to be a friends list of sorts. Of course, there's a voice aspect to this. This could be used for quick conversations with specific teachers or your friends. And similar to Steam, you could see your friends' achievements and their interests in educating themselves. You could challenge your friends to see who could unlock the French language fluency achievement first. However, we could also be looking at this from a more basic developmental sense at a younger age. If this is used as an alternative to grade school, there could be daily quests of sort that will be essential to progress through your day's education. Completion of the daily quest could potentially yield very minor rewards of some sort. We already have a curriculum for what each child should know before they pass on to the next grade. Why couldn't we convert this into a required segment of the program? Each time they log into the network, they could be given a few essential tasks to learn, and they would be eventually tested upon them. They're given a variety of interactive videos, games, projects, or assignments that the students could choose from to learn in order to pass the exam. The algorithm could be programmed to learn what styles of content work best with each student to help them progress faster and more efficiently. Students could progress at their own rate this way. Instead of having all the children sit in the same class at a predetermined rate, each child could learn at their own personalized rate. One thing that I believe would potentially be an issue with online education would be the lack of social skill development.
Have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
That is why I believe it might even be required to have group projects at certain ages. They could be as group challenges in the form of games or projects. I personally believe that I've learned a lot about how to most effectively interact with other people through online games and environments with other people. Luckily, I was born in the last generation to experience life pre-internet, and I do believe that in-person social interactions should play a part in any young person's development as well, but that's another topic entirely. Point being, I believe that there should be a large social aspect to this program. And since we're already going over the deep end with the depth of this project, let's 10x that figure and make this app accessible across multiple platforms. Let's have a mobile app that encompasses all or at least some of these features. Smart TVs and gaming systems could access this. Even the good old Macintoshes can use this app. The best content creators on this program will be those that are able to create engaging lessons wrapped up in an entertaining or interactive presentation. Most people learn best through multiple forms of education, so many creators would have accompanying syllabi, downloadable documents, engaging educational games, and of course closed captions for those that want to learn via reading as well. And as virtual reality advances, we can begin to add an additional layer for those who want to learn to do something in a hands-on manner. Imagine learning about a war while you're standing in the middle of the battlefield, or learning to build a computer by actually building a computer via an online educational game, or learning about the anatomy of creatures, seeing them up close with detailed information appearing over each organ, explaining their functions. Students would be granted an additional layer with which they can interact with teachers and other students with VR as well. I'm sure many people would disagree with this entire system, but this next segment is really going to rustle some jimmies. It's highly speculative and maybe controversial, so for those people, prepare to be triggered. To further incentivize usage of this platform and to compensate its creators, your achievements throughout the platform can be turned into a token. These tokens can be purchased through the platform or exchanged into a currency of some kind. I'm still not exactly sure how this would play out, but the platform clearly would cost money to create and maintain, so giving them an additional way to monetize it with systems like this could be an option. To encourage quality content for creators, these tokens can be given to them as a way to tip them for their work, or in exchange for one-on-one time with a teacher who dictates their price. Or it could be a system like Patreon with additional content locked behind a paid monthly subscription. And speaking of supporting content creators, do that algorithm thing and like and subscribe. Clearly this is all highly theoretical and speculative. I'm sure many of these concepts would not work in a practical sense when it's put into use. I can think of a few issues myself. Would this system cost money? What is the cost? How do you prevent people from cheating? The primary issue would be the inevitability of people finding ways to game the system and or monetize it somehow. And really, the only way to combat this would be to have stricter policies and systems set in place. Otherwise, people could very easily create new accounts to quickly and easily acquire tokens. There would be any number of potential issues, especially with ways to corrupt the system in some way. So there may need to be a cost of some kind associated with this. Or another potential method of preventing this would be to require a photo ID when creating a new account. The Chinese require a photo ID for their Battle.net accounts to play Blizzard games. They do this to discourage people from using third-party cheating or malicious programs, and I think that something similar could work for this program. And these are just a few of the many problems that I'm sure would occur within a system like this. Many of these things are currently available to some degree in other platforms. What I'd like to see would be a system developed to streamline all of them together, with all of the added aspects previously mentioned. I'm not sure how realistic or plausible this would be, but as someone that has a passion for education in a variety of different fields, this concept sounds like an amazing program. I'm already educating myself constantly through YouTube, and once upon a time, YouTube was not even a thing. And now it's become the modern day television set on steroids, and many people use it every single day. And as is, it's used as a form of entertainment as well as education. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for something to come along and take the throne in education. Especially with how bogged down YouTube has become with mindless entertainment clickbait or irrelevant political suggestions that I have no interest in whatsoever. Sometimes I only want to be recommended videos where I at least learn something. If we had an official, trusted program that could incorporate the best aspects of everything we already have in the education and creative spaces, we could be seeing something really special. Let me know in the comments what you think of this kind of education program. Clearly, it has its problems, so feel free to suggest your ideas. Now seek out your nearest like button on your device and gently press it. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers.